An arrest is made in the case of a Richmond Hill woman who has been missing since January.
Both suspects have been identified.
Police say one man is now in custody with a Canada-wide warrant out for the other, both accused in the violent assault of Elnaz Hajtamiri weeks before she went missing. Plus,
he told members of the congregation as he was being tackled that he was there to kill terrorists.
As new details emerge about the suspect who attacked worshippers in a Mississauga mosque, a shaken community is calling on the province to speed up support to combat hate-motivated incidents. And
I think the main takeaway is that we might be at the peak of a wave.
The Ontario Science Table says it projects hospitalizations will likely not be as high as the previous wave, but warns things may change, especially with the long weekend coming up. Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. A potential breakthrough in the case of a missing Richmond Hill woman. Police have arrested one man in the violent assault of Elnaz Hajtamiri with a Canada-wide warrant out for the other. Now, Hajtamiri was attacked last December. A few weeks later, she was abducted. As Dale Manukduk reports, police hope this latest arrest can get them one step closer to finding out what happened to her.
23-year-old Riyasat Singh was arrested at a Brampton residence yesterday and appeared in court today.
And the second suspect, we haven't located him, but a Canada-wide warrant has been issued for his arrest. We've also released his photo, and we do expect, again, that it will only be a matter of time until he's found. So we would strongly encourage him to speak to a lawyer and turn himself in.
That man is 23-year-old Harshdeep Binner, is also from Brampton. Both men are being charged with attempted murder, attempted kidnapping, possession of property obtained by crime over $5,000, and mischief under $5,000. It's alleged that on December 20, 2021, Binner and Singh attacked and struck Elnaz Hajtamiri with a frying pan in an underground parking garage in Richmond Hill. A month later, Hajtamiri was abducted by three men dressed in police gear in Wasaga Beach and then fled in a white Lexus SUV. Ontario Provincial Police are in charge of that parallel investigation.
Very helpful in their investigation as well, to just have these two individuals identified, and hopefully it will stir up some additional leads and some additional tips that we can work with.
Police have said that the December assault and her abduction in January are believed to be connected, but has so far not named any suspects in connection with the Wasaga abduction. Earlier this week, Hajtamiri's mother released a video message pleading for help that could lead to finding her daughter. Binner and Singh are also known to Edmonton police. They were both charged last month for a rash of break-in vehicle thefts. Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
We're learning more about the suspect behind an attack on a Mississauga mosque. A man sparked a violent confrontation during morning prayers last month. Now, he is alleged to have anti-Islamic views. And as Ali Chiasson reports, shaken worshippers are calling on the government tonight to make good on its promise to act against Islamophobia.
This attack has really, affected them deeply. And continues to do so.
It's been nearly a month since an attacker barged into morning prayers at Dar al-Tawhid Mosque, and congregants are still looking over their shoulder.
Even when they come to the mosque to pray, any sound in the mosque, they're terrified that it could be, another attack or something like that.
Witnesses say he was armed with an axe and bear spray, but worshippers tackled him to the ground before anyone was seriously hurt.
It was a very shocking, frightening experience.
Noorani Serali remembers hearing the man shout that he was there to, quote, kill terrorists.
The last thing I thought, it would happen is, here in our mosque in Mississauga, because, such a diverse community, it could happen anywhere.
How did this individual get radicalized to the point that he decided to show up to a mosque with an axe to, in his words, kill terrorists?
Police have said they believe the attack was hate-motivated. In March, 24-year-old Mohammed Moiz Omar was charged with assault with a weapon, administering a noxious substance, uttering threats and mischief to religious property. And while the police continue their investigation, the Imam of Dar al-Tawhid, along with the National Muslim Council of Canada, is calling on the government to do more.
The Ford government needs to pass the Our London Family Act,
We almost had another fatal mosque attack in the time that the government has dithered on this act.
The NDP proposed the Our London Family Act after the allegedly hate-motivated attack in London, Ontario last year. 4 members of the Afzal family were killed. It would require annual provincial reviews of hate crimes and create safe zones around mosques. The Conservatives rejected it in favor of their own version they say is still being drafted.
We want to pass a bill that meets the needs of the community, that respects what happened in London and makes real progress and takes action.
We need to see the federal government dramatically improve its security infrastructure program.
Imam Hindi says getting grant money to cover the cost of security at Dar al-Tawhid takes too long, and protecting communities from Islamophobic attacks can't wait.
We need to decide as a society how many attacks we are going to tolerate before we decide that we need a full system approach to defeating Islamophobia.
Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Mississauga.
The search is on for a driver after a hit and run downtown this morning. A 30-year-old woman was struck on Spadina, south of King, just after 3 a.m. Police say she suffered critical injuries and that the vehicle that struck her stopped for a moment, then sped off.
We currently believe that there was a single motor vehicle involved that was southbound on Spadina Avenue and that it was traveling at a high rate of speed.
The vehicle is described as a light-colored Mercedes convertible. It had the roof folded down at the time of the collision and will have noticeable damage to the front end. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. Toronto police have arrested a man they say was in possession of millions of dollars worth of illegal drugs with the intent of selling them. They add they don't believe their suspect was acting alone and are now asking for the public's help in identifying anyone else who may have been involved. Greg Ross has more.
It was a drug bust that Toronto police say is worthy of the record books.
On display in front of me is the result of the largest single-day seizure of illicit drugs in the history of the Toronto Police Service.
Police say the drugs they have seized have a street value of nearly $29 million, and so far it's all been linked to just one man.
On April 2nd of this year, they arrested 29-year-old Devontae Moores. At the time of his arrest, he was found to be in possession of 50 kilograms of powder cocaine.
Police say Moores was arrested in the underground parking garage here at 25 the Esplanade. They say there was also a unit in the building that he was using.
Now, in that unit, what we believe to be a stash house, they located an additional 139 kilograms of powder cocaine and 97 kilograms of crystal methamphetamine. We believe that stash house was used to house these drugs and then distribute to our local neighborhoods and our surrounding communities.
Police also searched Moore's home, where they found an additional $50,000 in cash and his car.
In his vehicle, when we executed that search warrant, we located a professionally built trap, more than likely used to transport large amounts of drugs and very likely firearms.
Police say they don't believe Moores was working alone, and they're asking anyone who may have information about a potential drug network to come forward.
It's uncommon generally to have such a young individual be entrusted with such large amounts of drugs that's worth millions of dollars.
Moores is facing 2 counts of possession of cocaine with the purposes of trafficking and 1 count of possession of crystal methamphetamine for the purposes of trafficking. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
Meteorologist Colette Kennedy joins us now with a first look at the forecast. And Colette, those gusts not holding back today.
Yeah, Calda, here we are. Windy day today. We've had the special weather statements in place, and we're going into a windy day as well for Good Friday with a frontal boundary that's going to be pushing through and kind of picking them up from the southwest. So do be aware of that. So we certainly have been seeing this through the week, kind of here, especially at the end of the week with those strong wind gusts. Now, what's happening with our sky conditions? Well, just a few little isolated showers or flurries into the evening hours and overnight tonight. And most of that's to the north of the city, a little bit into the southwestern Ontario, really isolated. I mean that. And then when we start off the day tomorrow, we will have some sunshine around the Golden Horseshoe, even back towards southwestern Ontario. You'll begin to be into that cloud deck, though, from Windsor over towards Leamington. And then as we roll things forward, we have showers developing as those clouds build in through the afternoon and evening hours. So I'll go into a little more detail on what's going to be happening for the whole Easter weekend. That's coming up. But overnight tonight, 4, and tomorrow, a daytime high of 12.
Thanks so much, Colette. The Science Table released new COVID-19 projections today. Now it says its latest findings show this latest wave will likely result in fewer hospitalizations than the previous one. But they also add that there are still many uncertainties. Lorena Redekop has the details.
It's an icky measure during this pandemic, monitoring the wastewater for COVID-19. And according to the Science Table, it may be headed in the right direction.
Is this a real crest? Do we continue to go up but slower than before? Do we follow a high plateau or start to go down? This is not clear yet.
He says likely 5% of Ontarians are infected right now. The Science Table projects hospitalizations will still rise, though likely not as high as the previous wave, with a similar increase for ICU numbers. However, it says this wave, the province has already hit the peak from the last wave for healthcare workers testing positive, a high for the entire pandemic. The Science Table says long COVID will have a burden on the health system and that it's more common in unvaccinated people. One emergency room doctor says he's seeing it.
People are still feeling tired and fatigued and having brain fog, they call it, memory problems. Another big thing is shortness of breath and cough, which, after a viral infection can last a month or so. But this is, 2-3 months later, people are still feeling it. You do an x-ray and you see a lot of lung scarring.
The Science Table also says masks work, especially in public spaces, schools and workplaces. Today, the chief medical officer told the Canadian Press he plans to extend the current mask mandate for hospitals, long-term care and public transit until the end of May. The Premier was asked about that today.
I wouldn't have any problem at all with that. I really wouldn't. We want to protect the most vulnerable.
His advice ahead of the holiday weekend?
Stay cautious. If you're having 15 people over, put your mask on, right? Like it doesn't hurt.
Among people taking the Up Express at Union Station, the sense is COVID is almost over.
We're really excited to travel after 2 years. Minor things here and there, but I think people are coming back to normal.
Yeah, we're wearing masks, we're being precautious, but we're here to travel.
Since we're like a small lot, we don't really think about it, I guess.
2 years into the pandemic, it's the same advice from public health professionals. Get vaccinated and wear a mask in crowded places. Lorena Redekop, CBC News, Toronto.
Mayor Tory will be carrying out his duties virtually for a little while after testing positive for COVID-19. The mayor says he tested positive this morning. On the advice of the city's top doctor, he is isolating at home. Tory adds he feels fine and that his symptoms are extremely mild. The mayor has received 3 doses of COVID-19 vaccine and is eligible for a 4th one next month. The provincial government announced new funding today for the healthcare system in Scarborough. And while advocates say the money is desperately needed, some are critical of the timing, calling for more long-term funding stability. Natalie Collada has the story.
We will be investing over $1 billion in a number of significant projects across the Scarborough Health Network.
Today, an announcement from the provincial government for healthcare in Scarborough, including $3 million in planning a new Birchmount hospital, replacing aging infrastructure at Centenary Hospital, funding a new chronic kidney disease program, and $20 million in renovations at Scarborough General Hospital to expand diagnostic imaging services and modernize one of the operating rooms.
The city's most diverse area is also our most ignored.
The Scarborough Health Network Foundation launched a campaign in January calling for more investment. In a statement to CBC, it says the announcement means our message has been heard. We look forward to continuing to work alongside our government partners and community champions in bringing these plans to life. The need, say advocates, is great.
There are too few beds left. So the emergency departments get backlogged. Patients are left in stretchers on hallways. We have photos at the Scarborough Hospital of patients lined up in stretchers down the hallway. So this is not a question of hospitals being inefficient. This is a question of the Scarborough Hospital being funded at the lowest rate in Canada.
And with an election around the corner, the blame game at Queen's Park today was in full swing.
Why has it taken this government and their Scarborough members 4 years to commit to Scarborough health care?
It didn't take us 5 mandates. It didn't take us 15 years. It's taking us 1 mandate, Mr. Speaker, because we're getting it done for Scarborough.
Advocates say it will take more than that to solve the problems.
Hospitals need stable, ongoing funding to meet population need. We're the lowest rate in Canada, the lowest rate of any province by far. We have the fewest hospital beds left of any province by far in the country, the fewest nurses per patient of any province in the country.
Natalie Kalatis, CBC News, Toronto.
Welcome back. Another game, another milestone for Austin Matthews. Tonight, he became the 3rd player in Maple Leafs history to reach 100 points in a season.
Larson lost the puck, picked up by Toronto. Side drive shot, score! He captures 100 Toronto.
That assist to Scarborough native Michael Bunting, placing Matthews in the prestigious 100-point club. He joins Leafs legends Daryl Sittler and Doug Gilmour. It is the first time a Leafs player has cracked the 100-point mark in 28 years. Matthews would record another assist in tonight's game against the Washington Capitals. The Leafs absolutely dominating this one, winning 7-3. Here's what Austin Matthews had to say after the game.
Yeah, it's humbling. I mean, I feel like I could just keep repeating myself, but obviously to be mentioned with those 2 guys, what they were able to do for this team and the city, and just kind of paving the way for guys like myself and the guys that are here now. So it's a big honor, but it's it doesn't happen without the guys on this team and the guys that I play with every single night.
Matthews is having the best season of his career. Just last week, the 24-year-old broke the franchise record for most goals in a single season. And the Leafs still have 8 games left until the playoffs. The Toronto Raptors continue to prepare for the playoffs during the unusually long break in between games. And for many players, it will be their first playoff appearance in a Raptors jersey. Veteran Fred VanVleet offered some words of wisdom today.
Stick to the game plan. Stick to the game plan. Trust your details, trust your instincts, go out there, have fun. That's about it. It's can't really explain, what's about to happen on Saturday. Every player goes through it.
Scotty Barnes was one of the top rookies in the league during the regular season. Coach Nick Nurse yesterday saying he believes Barnes will continue that strong play during the playoffs. Barnes is in the running to be named the NBA Rookie of the Year. And you are looking at a live shot of the Toronto skyline, mainly clear tonight with some cloudy periods overnight. Winds have calmed down quite a bit. Currently it is 10 degrees in the city. Let's go back to Colette now with a look at your full forecast. And Colette, some really nice days this week. Many hoping for the same this long weekend.
Kelda, I know, a lot of people are kind of counting on the weekend, maybe have some days off, kids have time off, and wanting to make some plans for Easter. It is going to be a little bit tricky in terms of it's going to be a cooler weekend for sure. We've got some colder air coming in, and it's going to settle in for a little bit. But let's kind of walk you through everything happening. So we will see the conditions Friday. Breezy once again as a front moves through. Showers into the afternoon, so the latter part of the day will be dry earlier than that. And we do have those not only cool temperatures, but this is more so around the Niagara region, parts of northern shores of Lake Erie, where we'll likely see a little bit of a mix, but it's even possible for a few wet flurries to be making their way into the city as well. So as we go through the overnight, just a few isolated showers or flurries that we're talking about. We start the day off tomorrow, dry conditions, some sunshine in here, but then clouds building. Those clouds will build earlier back towards Windsor. You'll be seeing the rain developing there. Into the afternoon, we get some of of that coming through the Golden Horseshoe, although a lot of it stays just on kind of the line with the city and then sort of around the west end of Lake Ontario and into parts of the Niagara region. Then here we are Saturday morning, and this is where I think we're getting a little bit luckier than it was looking earlier in the week, that this system and a lot of this precipitation stays further south. So maybe a bit of a light mix early and then getting into some sun and then the cloud coming back in the afternoon. So kind of a part of the day where we will have some brighter skies in there. That is an improvement. All right, looking at those winds and some of those strong gusts, turning towards the south Friday early and then more south to southwesterly flow, especially for southwestern Ontario, and then they'll finally begin to ease. So another blustery day on tap. Southwesterly flow, there you have it. And the temperatures overnight tonight, we're looking at some of these readings anywhere 3 to 5 degrees. Not expecting the lightning there, just some isolated showers. Overnight tonight, same risk. I think it's going to be mostly dry, but that same risk here around the Golden Horseshoe. And then, yeah, our bunny's jumping for joy because Sunday we're going to have some sunshine. Just know it's going to be a cool start for any outdoor Easter egg hunts as the overnight low Saturday into Sunday -2.
All right, thanks so much, Colette. Finally tonight, for the first time in more than 2 years, Cirque du Soleil is back in Toronto. The latest installment, Curios, Cabinet of Curiosities, making its grand debut at Ontario Place.
What people can expect to see is a lot of amazing human performances. The acrobatics, absolutely fantastic. The music is really amazing. A lot of energy, kind of electro swing type of music, and lots of humor. So hopefully people will enjoy it.
The last Cirque du Soleil show in Toronto was Alegria, which ended in December 2019. All Cirque du Soleil shows were canceled last year, and nearly 3,500 employees were let go due to the pandemic. But this year's relaunch is well underway, with shows opening in Montreal this month and in Trois-Rivières in July. And you can see Curios under the big top through to July 17th. Looks pretty cool. And that is our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. We are off the air tomorrow for Good Friday, so have a great weekend, and we will see you back here on Monday. Have a great night.